Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. Today we are doing an individual reading for Yunjin of the Sserafim. So in this video we're going to check 4 different areas of her life, which is her current energy, her career, her love life, and then any healing messages that come through. And in the description below I will have the timestamps in case you want to jump between each section. And with that said, let's start with her current energy to see how she's doing right now. So how is Yunjin doing right now? Let's see, the first card we have is the World Reverse. Wait. We have the Eight of Swords Reverse, the Six of Wands upright, and the Emperor Reverse. So with the World Reverse, it seems like right now she's going through a period where nothing is going according to plan, or at least she feels like she is a bit powerless with some of her big goals in life, because the world here it says completion because it is like the end of a cycle, but the world also describes like destiny and fate. And I'm also getting structure because the world is Saturn energy, so there is a sense that right now she's going through a period in her life where things are not going the way that she wants it. Like maybe she had a plan on how she wanted to go about a certain goal, or maybe she had an idea or a visualization of what her life would look like at some point, like where she's at right now, and it's not really looking the way that she had imagined it. And it's not necessarily a bad thing per se, but the issue right now is not necessarily like what's going on in her life as much as she feels a bit powerless. Like she feels like she's just going with the flow and that she doesn't have a sense of independence or a sense of control, and that is the thing that's bothering her. And also there's this sense of stagnation, so she might be feeling very close to the end of a chapter, but she's not quite there. Like there's a sense of completion that she's not reaching. Like she's very close to either finishing something or reaching a goal or feeling some sort of fulfillment in her life, but there's something that's still missing, or there's something that she's waiting on, or there is just something that is not progressing somehow, and that's why there's a sense of stagnation. Now I'm saying this as well because we have the Emperor reverse, and the Emperor usually describes as someone that is in their masculine energy. This is Aries energy, by the way, so it is also someone that, oh wow, we do have structure right here. That's insane. I don't think she has a Saturn in Aries because she should be a bit older for that, but there might be some energy around that she's finding it kind of, she may feel like she's been tested by life on how to put herself first, how to prioritize herself, how to go with her individuality, how to work on her self-expression, how to do things that make her happy when she feels like it. So feeling spontaneous and being genuine with her way of living life, instead of like, finding structure with her own beliefs and her own actions, rather than trying to like adapt herself to how other people do things and how society thinks we should do things, right? So I do feel that she's finding her individuality very hard to grasp at the moment, or she's been finding it very difficult to just express who she is as an individual. And she may also be in a state of mind right now where she's trying to figure out who she is and how she wants to do things. So basically part of growing up. Now I'm saying that because that comes often with young idols. Young idols in age, and also young idols as in like barely started their career. Also with this Emperor reverse, I do feel like she's finding it very difficult to take action, because the Emperor is supposed to be someone that is very stable, because it is number 4. So the number 4 in tarot does describe someone that's very structured and stable, and someone that's quite grounded. But the Emperor is supposed to show someone that is able to observe their surroundings, and they know when to take action, when to do things, when to kind of like move forward and finally get things done, whatever it is that they want to do, whatever it is that they plan. So with this card reverse, I do feel that right now she's finding it very difficult to study her surroundings and actually be able to take action or take that first step towards whatever it is that she's aiming for. And there's a couple of things as to why that could be. One of those things is this Eight of Swords reverse. So even though it's the Eight of Swords, I originally thought it was the Eight of Wands, which could which even though it's not here, I will talk about what the Eight of Wands means, which is usually a very fast moving energy. It's supposed to symbolize like all the energy is concentrated on a certain goal or a certain journey or path, and that's why things are moving pretty smoothly and pretty quickly. So action is being taken. However, with this Eight of Swords, oh, hold up. But since I thought the Eight of Wands was reversed, even though it's not even here, but I saw it somehow. It will show a sense of stagnation, like things are not moving quickly, or her energy's kind of scattered, which is very similar to what the world reverse can mean as well. Now, with this Eight of Swords reverse, it's actually a pretty good sign. Like right now, she's, how should I put it? In the past and in the future, she may feel this sense of like stagnation, a sense of not feeling fulfilled, or like there's something missing, or not being able to complete something. That's how she feels. However, currently she's doing okay because we have the Eight of Swords reverse, which usually upright, it talks about someone that feels like they're trapped. They feel like they're under the illusion that they can't move forward or that they're stuck somehow. But it's all in their mind. However, with it being reversed, I think she's aware that if she's not moving forward or if something's not being fulfilled or completed, there's a high chance because she's overthinking it. And I think that the reason why she's not super bothered by that is that she recognizes that those limits that she is living in her life right now is self-imposed. Like those are her own fears, her own doubts, her worries. Like she is aware that she's her biggest obstacle right now, or at least her view on it. Actually, she may not be the reason why things are not happening, in the sense of like maybe she, there's some people that because of fear they don't take action. I think with her it's more like she's not taking action because she's not seeing things clearly, in the sense of like she may not be aware of what's the best course of action for what she wants to do, or which I feel is the biggest issue right now, is that she just hasn't really figured out what she wants to do in the first place. Which again, is not an issue in the sense of like she's struggling with something, but it is an issue as if she wants to do something, then she will have to overcome this obstacle. Now, the other card that we have here is the Six of Wands, which is an awesome card to have because the Six of Wands talks about success. It talks about recognition, being given credit. It's someone that is being paraded for their victories and acknowledged for them. So achievement is a good way of talking about that. So with these two cards put together, it kind of shows that she is aware of what her strengths are and what her weaknesses are, which is a very good place to be in. Again, I think her biggest issue right now is that she's finding it very difficult to figure out what it is that she wants. And until she figures that out, then she will have an idea of how to take action towards making that goal a reality. But for the moment, she's doing pretty well. Again, she's aware of what she's good at. She is aware, and she kind of gives herself a pat in the back when she does well in life, which is beneficial to not feel overwhelmed. But also she is aware of her own limits as an individual. And again, the limits that she puts on herself, as well as the limits that she has naturally because of her circumstances, whatever they may be, in accordance to her goals. So yeah, right now she's not doing that bad. It's just kind of like timing could be an issue. Maybe just not having the right people. Or like I mentioned, I think her biggest issue is just that she's not really aware what it is that she needs or how she wants to go about it. Like I think she is just struggling to figure out who she is and what she wants to do about that. But let's go into her career and see how Yunjin's career is doing. We have Blue Moon with Believe in the Impossible. We have Waxing Moon with the energy is gaining momentum. So she's manifesting something in her career. And we have Doable with the key is within your grasp. So the thing that she may feel a bit overwhelmed with or a bit stagnant with could be within her career. Like what we talking in her current energy, right? So with the Believe in the Impossible, there's this sense of like having the ability to manifest. As I mentioned earlier, some of the things that she may limit herself with could be fears and doubts. And those fears and doubts could stem from the idea that what she's dreaming is something that is out of her reach, or it's impossible, as in like it has maybe never been done before, or she herself may believe that she doesn't have the skills or the mentality or like the state of mind to do what she thinks is impossible, right? This is something that many people kind of just have to go through, which is understand, kind of, what is it called? Like get rid of their limiting beliefs. And what that does is that many people just have to kind of open up to the idea that everything's possible and they can do everything it is that they wish. So with this blue moon, there's a sense that she's just going through that state where she has to kind of let go of that baggage of, I can't do this, I can't do that, or I'm not good enough for this, I'm not good enough for that, or how there's no way I will ever reach this point, or whatever thoughts are limiting her. She kind of has to get rid of that and just kind of see what happens, right? Which, I mean, that's a very Aries energy to have, to just kind of be like, hey, fuck it, let me just see what happens. Let's just go for it, you know. It's like, let me not think, let me just do. Which I do feel that in her case, she maybe overthinking something to the point where she's just not taking action. The other card that we have right here is the energy is gaining momentum and doable. So these two cards put together kind of show that when she gets rid of her limiting beliefs, she'll have an easier time doing what's necessary to achieve her goals within her career. So if she wants to start projects that emphasize who she is as an individual, or if she wants to start surrounding herself by people that understand who she is as a person to create a rich environment in her work, then she will eventually get that for sure, because she has everything she needs already. With the energies gaining momentum, I do feel that maybe external, you know what I'm getting? You know, when it happens that people sometimes can feel that there's something around the corner, but they quite can't put their finger on what that is. And that world reverse could be similar to the energies gaining momentum. Like, there's something. Like, gears are turning, things are moving, people are moving, energies are flowing, and maybe Yunjin can feel that there's something great out there for her, or she kind of knows that things are going to get better, or that they're just going to change. Maybe she doesn't know if it's for the better, but they're going to change. However, she may feel like it might be too good to be true, or she may wonder how things are changing, if it will be beneficial or not, which I do think it will be, because it's the world. So it's like, it's something that she's fated to do, and even though it could be a blessing, it could still be challenging, because again, getting rid of limiting beliefs is not easy, so that's a challenge on its own. But with the doable, the key is within your grasp. This kind of shows that she already has everything she needs. Even if it's not what she wants, it is everything that she needs. So she already has the knowledge necessary to succeed. She already has overcome the things that have to be overcome in the sense of physical obstacles. So if she needed to be in a certain place or time, she's already there. Again, I think her biggest issue right now is her viewpoint or her perspective of things. So her mind is the one that is kind of holding her back at the moment. Again, this is trying to, I do feel that it stems from a place of doubt and fear. Doubt that it's possible that she can make her dreams come true, and fear in the sense of like, what if I'm putting my hopes up and then I don't meet those expectations? That's where the fear is coming from as well. She may also feel as like she has like, what is it called? It's a carrot and a stick. Like, she may feel like her goals are very close. Like, she could almost touch them. She can almost reach them. She's not quite there yet. And that could be something that's bothering her at the moment, which again is not necessarily an issue. I think it's just a matter of time before she actually sees how things are, how she's doing well. Now let's just get some tarot to get a better idea of like what's going on in her career. Oh, it's 3. I wanted 2, but 3 is fine. So we have, I guess it makes sense. We have 9 of Pentacles reversed. We have the 8 of Wands, which I did talk about. And then we have the Hermit reversed. So she does have quite a lot of major arcana. So if she has all that major arcana, that kind of shows that this is a big deal. That, like, this is a checkpoint in her life. Something that she has to go through for her growth as an individual in this lifetime. But okay, the 9 of Pentacles is very important because we're talking about her career, and the 9 of Pentacles talks about someone that is financially independent. It talks about someone that feels like they're in their, I was gonna say secret garden, which I know that's a drama, and I don't really know what that's about, but that could be relevant for Yunjin. But anyway, it's supposed to show like your paradise. You're surrounded by this garden. Like, usually the imagery of the 9 of Pentacles is this woman that has like a bird or like a hawk of sorts on her arm or shoulder. And she is surrounded by this garden that is growing pentacles and grapes, which is supposed to show her abundance. It's supposed to symbolize her independence with finances, her knowledge with her money and how to make money, and also her stability as an individual, which I do feel that that's where Yunjin is aiming to be. Like, she's aiming to be in a state where she feels comfortable with her money, with her job, with her career, with herself, and also that she feels that she has the skills or knowledge to be able to do it all over on her own if it ever came down to it. And I feel that that's where she is working, what she's working towards, and where she's struggling with. Like, she may be struggling with the knowledge part. She may also be struggling with also recognizing her financial independence, or she can definitely reach that point in her career, but she's not there quite yet. But this Eight of Wands kind of shows, since it's upright, this is awesome, because it shows that right now her energy is focused. She has, I'm kind of going like, huh, because it is good and bad what I was about to say. Good in the sense of like she has tunnel vision, so she's super focused, laser focused. This is what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to go about it, and I will succeed. So she's not getting distracted, she's focusing all her energy in one goal, which is awesome. Now the issue with that is that she could be so laser focused, so tunnel vision, that she's not seeing her surroundings, and therefore she may be limiting her approach on how to reach this goal. And that wouldn't be too bad if it wasn't, because now she could be reaching a point of stagnation because she's not being open-minded to her other possibilities that can help her reach that point in a more comfortable place. And when I mean a comfortable place is, well, her biggest issue right now is that she's having limiting beliefs, because she feels like she has to maybe go on a certain path or have a certain approach, and that could not be the most enjoyable for her or the most comfortable for her, like the most comfortable approach. And the universe could be telling her, like, there's other ways you can do this and still reach your goal, even if it's not conventional to other people. And talking about not conventional, we have the Hierophant reversed. So the Hierophant talks about a couple of things. One of the things that I'm going to be focusing on is the traditional part of the Hierophant. The Hierophant also talks about a teacher. Here it's his guidance. So it talks about like a teacher in an organized institution. So like a school, academics, that kind of thing. And I'm saying that because I do feel that in her career, the industry that she's in, it's the Hierophant, right? It's supposed to symbolize a structured industry, right? There's a certain way of doing things, certain rules, and certain belief system. And I do feel that with this Hierophant reverse, she kind of has to learn how the system works, but she doesn't have to tie down herself to how that system functions. She can shift it, she can change it, and she can work with what she's comfortable with and go around the things that she doesn't even want to bother with. If it's not just because other people do it, or just because it's normal, conventional to do certain things in a certain way, doesn't mean that she has to do it. And I do feel that this is what she's struggling with. She's struggling with differentiating who she is as an individual and how she wants to, what approach she wants to have, so self-expression. And then she's struggling with the I was gonna say the hive mentality, or what is it called, the crowd mentality as well. Like, she's struggling to put herself outside of what everybody else is doing, so she wants to go quickly towards her goal and have that approach. But I do feel that she may have to go on an unconventional approach. So it's not necessary. So it's rebelling, but not for the sake of going against the current, or for the sake of being unique, or something along those lines. It's more along the lines of like rebelling in the sense of like doing things her way, and like, yeah, maybe quote unquote breaking rules, but those rules are just belief systems rather than actually breaking the structure. It's like breaking it enough for better and greater change, but not for the sake of like other people going like, oh, she's just trying to cause chaos. And it's like, no, it's just, oh wait, hold up, you go here. It's just kind of like doing her own thing, going at her own pace, and being honest to who she is and her approach to things, like so how she wants to do things, but not necessarily just doing it for the sake of trouble. And I do feel that she may find it kind of difficult to figure out who she is as a person and what she's willing to, which battles to pick. That's the best way I can describe it, in the sense of like, does she want to push against these standards, or does she want to fight meaningless battles? So I do feel that that could be something that she will eventually encounter. But let's go into her love life and figure out what's going on there. So we have New Moon in Capricorn with your hard work is paying off. I have a feeling that her love life is going to be all about self-growth, since it seems like it's a big deal for her reading right now. We have Mirak with embrace oneness with the universe, talking about self-growth. So she's definitely going through that. Like, she's learning how to walk on her own, how to be her own abundance. Now, I said it like question mark because, I mean, what does that mean? I've never said those words before. But walking on her own abundance, so I guess kind of a self-made person. Is that what that could mean? But yeah, so New Moon in Capricorn. This shows that right now she's starting a new chapter in her life where she is learning how to embody this Capricorn energy. Now, a Capricorn, in its essence, its energy, is one that knows how to be themselves, knows how to go slow and steady to approach their goals. They understand the system, they understand the structure, and they know how to play by the rules. However, a Capricorn that is healthy will do what they want, however they want it, without breaking rules. Now, let me explain this. A Capricorn usually is very aware of their reputation and how people view them. They are aware that the people they surround themselves with, the words that they say, and the work that they do speaks volumes in a very silent way. And Capricorn is usually aware of their legacy. Now, let me say something else. For example, usually Capricorn is, people say, the natural ruler of the 10th house, which, I mean, for me it is, since I'm an Aries ascendant, but for other people, it's like a Capricorn usually embodies what we recognize as a 10th house, I guess, standards. And what that means is like your public image, your reputation, your legacy, your career, that kind of thing. So I'm bringing all of these things up because with Yunjin, I think that's something that she's working on. Working how to learn the environment that she's in to be able to understand what rules to bend in a way that it doesn't hurt her image to the point of actually leaving her in a bad state. Enough, being able to bend the rules enough so she gets what she wants, but not at the cost of potentially putting her in a super bad light in her work. So I think she's learning how to be a good businesswoman, but of course within her career. So it's kind of weird that we're talking about this in her love life, right? How to I was gonna say something else as well. Like, she's working on improving her career and like becoming a successful person, but also she's trying to make sure that she understands how can she honestly be herself without putting herself in like a difficult position within her career, as as an idol, as a person, and like how to not compromise who she is as an individual and who she wants to become. So I think she's just kind of growing up and maturing and having like this cold mind or this cold approach and learning how to play the long game. I think that is very important for her. Learning how to not lose herself in the long run within this industry. But yeah, embrace oneness with the universe. I do feel that she is learning how to be abundant, how to play with the rules but also bend them, how to be herself but not damage her reputation. Like, there's some things that people need to see and other things that she can just keep to herself. Well, what I mean by that is like, she can put up this persona without being fake, but she can also be herself without compromising her vulnerabilities to other people. I hope that makes sense. So I think she's just learning how to work in the industry, how to have her work face and her work persona, and having that balance with herself. Because let me talk about astrology again, apparently. So I think I read somewhere once, or I think it was somewhere on Twitter, that someone was mentioning how one of there's squares in our astrological charts, and we have like 12 houses. And one of the houses that will square, if you want to see it that way, will be, you have your first house, your fourth, your seventh, and your 10th house. What? Okay. And the one that I kind of want to focus on is the first and the 10th house, because I think that's where she's struggling with right now. The relationship of figuring out who she is on the outside for her work, the legacy that she wants to leave behind, and her public image, and she's learning how to balance this difficult square with who she is as a person, right? Which will be the first house. How she sees herself, how she views herself, and how she puts herself to the public image. Now, I mentioned two other houses, which is the fourth house, which usually talks about the domestic life, who she is. I guess it could be with her family or her close circles. And then the seventh house, who is she when she works with other people in like a closer relationship, so partnerships. When we talk about bigger groups, and we're talking about like the 11th house. So like that's a big image. And someone was mentioning how this square is kind of just talking how we're trying to balance these different versions of ourselves. Who am I to myself? Who am I to the public? Who am I at home? And who am I in my partnerships? Which could be relationships of like romantic nature, as well as just platonic friendships. But this is kind of like a one-on-one type of relationship. So I do feel that that's kind of where she's working on right now. Figuring out who she is for herself, who she is, or who she wants to show, like what version she wants to show to other people. And also trying to kind of connect that to her destiny. And what I mean to her destiny is just like the nature of her life, which we kind of see with the world in her current energy. Let's just get a little bit more details in her love life though. We have the Nine of Swords reversed, so she's trying to let go of stress. She's trying to let go of like nightmares, anxiety. She's trying to overcome fears and doubts, as we saw earlier with the Eight of Swords. Like she's definitely trying to get rid of like the things that keep her up at night, or the things that don't let her sleep, or anything that holds her back. This is all within the mind, because this is sword energy. Let's just get one more card. We have the Nine of Wands reversed with fear. Now, I'm kind of laughing because you got two nines, which is significant in the sense of 9 is just one step away from reaching completion, because the number of completion in tarot is number 10, and she's kind of reaching that point. Now, with this fear card, I feel that she is going through this period, of discovering herself, which will kind of make her or force her to do this shadow work. And she will kind of have to like face or acknowledge what it is that she's afraid of, which she's kind of already there, because we saw with the Eight of Swords that she is aware of what her limits are. But I do feel like she kind of has to actually face her fears and her doubts and what is holding her back, to fully understand why she is not taking the steps that she wants to take, or being able to analyze what those limits are, what those boundaries are, so then she can push them accordingly, in the sense of self-growth and self-understanding. Now, I'm saying that because that is the best way that she will be able to figure out what her public image will be like and how she wants to portray that, because then she will be able to know like what she cares about and what she doesn't care about, like what will bother her if people like what image she wants to put out there, and then understand what will bother her when other people like talk about her. So does she care if people say this? Does she care if people say that? And if the answer is yes or no, then she will know like how much to push with her work and her image, and as well understand who she is as a person, and be like, what will I tolerate from people, what will I not tolerate. So just setting healthy boundaries with others about her image, I guess that's the best way I can describe it. But also being able to understand how much she's willing to push herself to reach whatever goal it is that she wants to reach, in the terms of compromising who she is as a person. Are those the words I'm looking for? I guess the way I can describe this is like, when she knows who she is as a person, she'll understand how much she's playing for her public image, and how much it truly is her, and then understand how much that bothers her, if at all. Because I do feel that there's like this compromise of like, how much of her is she willing to express to the public image or for her career, and how much is she willing to just kind of like keep to herself. And I think that's what she's working on right now in her love life. Figuring out who she is, and then what approach she wants to have for her work. Like, what is she willing to show? What does she prefer to keep to herself? How does she want to approach things? What are the things that are holding her back from being who she wants to be? Or what are the things that hold her back from doing what she wants to do? Which could be limiting beliefs, right? Like, she doesn't believe that she can reach her goals, or that she can be this version that she admires, or that she, I guess, is aiming for. So these two cards kind of just show that she's working through that, and the best way that she can do that is by facing those things that are holding her back, basically. To end up her reading, let's go into her healing messages, just to see what more is there to say for her reading. So, healing messages for Yunjin. Oh, perfect. So we have the Fox Spirit reversed with Think on Your Feet. We have the Squirrel Spirit with Believe in Yourself. And we have the Deer Spirit with Bring a Gentle Touch. Which, all of those cards are very fitting, because with the Think on Your Feet, it makes me think of this card that we saw in her love life with Embrace Oneness with the Universe. Which kind of shows that right now what she's working on is how to be herself, how to, when I think of one of the things on their feet, I think of someone that's pretty witty. So I think one of the healing messages is like, be so sure of who you are as a person. So like that, if anyone ever like pushes her boundaries or is reaching that point, she has a very eloquent way of saying, don't even bother, or like, take a step back. Being able to also express who she is as a person, but also keeping the sense of mystery, so that she keeps who she is to herself as well, right? So again, as we talked earlier, finding this balance of how much is she willing to show to the public, and how much does she want to keep to herself. And she can be completely transparent to the public, that's perfectly fine, but is she ready to face the consequences? Now, I'm not saying that in a threatening way, as much as I'm just saying, like, regardless of what she does, regardless of how much she wants to show or whatever image she wants to portray, there will be a reaction to it. And is she willing to face whatever reaction she's going to cause, right? So that's kind of what I'm saying in this case, is like, think on your feet. Even though this card is reversed, it's kind of showing that right now she's learning how to communicate, not only with herself, but also with her environment, her surroundings, and to the public. I do feel that she's very focused right now on how people will react to her. And then she's trying to figure out how to express who she is as a person without like breaking rules, or without causing too much of a stir in her environment. Like, I do feel that maybe she was doing something that caused some sort of like problem or conflict, and she didn't really know how to handle it. I feel that she did something that may have had quite the push on her, in the sense of like, now she's like, I need to be more careful, I need to be cautious, I can't be myself or whatever. And because of that, now she's trying to figure out how to break out of that, and it's becoming kind of difficult and challenging. So this Fox Spirit reverse is kind of saying like, you will eventually figure out the right words, find the right way of expressing who you are, the best way of connecting your mind to yourself. Because I feel that she may feel a little bit out of balance. Like, her mind, body, and heart are not quite aligned yet, and because of that, she's overthinking, and she's not doing what her heart tells her, as in like being herself and being honest and truthful. And then she's not connecting it to her body in the sense of she's not showing it or like grounding all of that energy. So yeah, the thought spirit is kind of saying like eventually you'll get there, but there's still some work that has to be done in that area, which is her way of expressing herself. Now with the squirrel spirit, with believe in yourself, is like, again, this has a lot to do with the image that she has of herself, the shadow work that she has to do to then be able to show who she is as a person to her surroundings, to her work, to her public image. Like, so the squirrel spirit is like, there's a lot of, because I'm thinking how squirrels like bury their food so they can get it for later, and they usually kind of like forget about it. So I do feel that with her, she's going through a similar state where like there's pieces of herself that have stayed dormant within her that she kind of has to like reopen and rediscover. So with believing yourself, kind of makes me think that she may feel right now that she's lacking, but if she did some some introspective shadow work, she will realize that there's parts of herself that she had forgotten she actually had within her. So this sense of fearlessness, this sense of independence, this sense of unbothered energy, like it's within her, that, or like she has that, and that's why right now she may feel a little bit like out of herself, like that she's not herself because she's not living her authentic life, in the sense of like there's parts of her that, okay, I guess the best way I can describe it is like if she feels some sort of discomfort or like, why can't I be like this? Why can't I be like that? Is because she already has that, which I mean, we saw here with the key is within your grasp. It kind of shows like she already has those traits within her, and she's bothered because she doesn't recognize that she has that already. She just kind of has to awaken those parts of herself again. And I think the squirrel spirit is kind of telling her like, you know, believe that you are already who you want to be. It's just going to take some time for her to kind of like, for I guess, for the rest of herself to reach that part. It's kind of like, how should I put it? Let's say her mind, no, let me reword this. Let's say a part of herself already recognizes who she is, and that part is the one that says, I want to be this way. But then the other parts of herself that actually act it, actually believe it, and actually feel it are not quite there yet. This is the best way I can describe it. So like, let's say there's a finish line, and at the finish line is the part of herself that wants to be that, and then the other parts of her are like really like catching up. That's the best way I can describe it. Now the deer spirit, which is the last card in her reading, we have bring a gentle touch. She just has to be very patient with herself. I think that's what this deer spirit is kind of saying, is like, do not worry, like believe in the impossible, know that you have achieved a lot in your life, and know that eventually this is just a matter of time. Like with time, she will eventually realize who she wants to be and then work towards that. Right now, all of the things that she's going through is part of her growth. It's just a matter of time for her to slowly it's a matter of time for the other pieces to reach that finish line. So she doesn't really have to worry about that. This is part of her journey, part of her cycle, part of her growth as an individual, as a person. So she doesn't necessarily have to worry about rushing this, which I don't think she is. If anything, the only thing that she has to do is do the shadow work to get rid of any limiting beliefs, and also just get rid of anything that's holding her back. But there's no problem here of like resistance. There's no problem here of like there's something that she has to do that she hasn't done. No, this is just a matter of time. Like with time, she will eventually find the answers. With experience, she'll understand things, and also with time, she'll be able to open her perspective and her view, which will allow her to see like different approaches to whatever goal she has in mind. But yeah, with all of that said, I hope you guys like this reading. This one was pretty focused on like who she is and who she wants to be, and also her image. Seems like she's doing pretty well regardless of her growth. Again, this is just a natural thing, a natural part of growing up. I don't think this is necessarily a super big issue. This is just kind of like what she has to go through to become a bit more honest, be more honest with herself, I guess is the best way I can describe that, which is basically just a part of being independent and maturing. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one, whenever that is, however that is. I hope you guys liked this reading, or at least found it entertaining, and thank you so much for watching. Love and healing from my part to you, and bye.